What can I say? Big, dumb, and full of fun. What's going on, people? Alex Thorn here, and I'm just a rock and roller when it's downtime, likes to watch movies while wearing a bandana. And thank you to Regal Cinema, who sent me 2 tickets, which I brought my son to a 3D and 4DX version of Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. You know, I vaguely remember the first Godzilla vs. Kong. I own it in 3D. Of course I was going to watch this because I enjoyed Godzilla Minus One so much that I went to go watch it 3 times in the theaters. So when I went into this, I think I went into a little bit with different mindset. Like I said, mind you, the last Godzilla film I watched, I was super satisfied with Minus One. The last King Kong film that I remember, and it happens to be the one that I liked, which was Kong Island. I also went and got that in 3D and saw it in theaters. So mentally, I was prepared to see more of the same. And I was, in that sense, greatly disappointed. Once I realized, what you end up realizing very quickly when you watch this movie, that you're basically watching the Fast and the Furious with monsters. Family. Then you can just enjoy it. You really have to just turn off your brain, because Lord knows you're not going to figure out anything on your own. That's why we have these absolutely agitating and annoying human characters who know exactly what 300 and 500 foot monsters are thinking and their motives for doing everything. That's why they're there, right? Because Godzilla must be doing this because he wants to help Kong get back home and take over. Or how about this one? They're trying to pull those 2 pyramids together so that for a moment there's no gravity and then they'll have the advantage. How the fuck would you know? Like, seriously. It's just American blockbuster filmmaking brings down this movie. Now, I know the movie has had an incredible box office weekend and will continue to steamroll. You know why? Because it's big, dumb, and fun. And that's all it has to be. I get it. But since you're watching my review, I have to give you my perspective of what I went into it thinking and what I started to think in the middle of it and then what I eventually came out thinking. Which is, this movie is a American blockbuster through and through. I guess when I think back to the special effects, what really stood out was Kong and his interaction, his silent interaction with the other apes. Because you understood everything despite them not being able to say a word to each other. They captured that really well. The CGI is just off the charts, right? This really is a Kong movie co-starring Godzilla. Because I think a lot of people went into this thinking that they were going to both get equal amounts of time. But you got to remember, we've already gotten Godzilla this year in several forms. And Kong has not been able to really shine since 2017. So he gets to shine here. Therein lies one of the issues I have with this movie, is that for some reason, Kong, even though he's the king, right? He's the alpha male. He always needs help. I mean, for God's sake, he gets a toothache. He cracks his tooth and comes up and faints. He gets frostbite on his arm, comes up and faints from the underworld or whatever they call it that he's in. It's just, like, why are you doing this to my Kong? What are you doing? And he always has a love interest. And despite them not really pushing his love interest with the silent girl in this movie, I feel like that's really his love interest, because he looks at her and has this soft spot for her. And you know, Kong, he's a ladies' man. Honestly, the best actor in this entire movie is the little girl. And she doesn't say a word. And that's probably why she's the best actress in this movie, because everybody who does talk is absolutely agitating in this. There's a lot of comic relief, which is completely unnecessary in one of these movies, in my opinion. I don't need loser podcaster to be comic. I don't need super cool guy who has no problem dropping down onto Kong while Kiss I Was Made for Loving You plays and puts this gigantic, monstrous, mechanical arm on Kong. There's just so much about it. There's just... At the end of the day, my son loved it. At the end of the day, thank you, Regal Cinema, for sending us to go watch it in 3D and 4DX. I think if you go into this movie and you just want action and want to see Scar King, Shimu, Kong, and Godzilla fight and buildings crash and crazy stuff, you're going to get what you want. If you go into this movie just with those thoughts, you'll love it. Me, this channel, not so much. So I gotta give Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, 3 bandanas out of 5. And those 3 bandanas come, like I said, because I came into this with higher expectations from -1 and Kong Skull Island, and this just dropped it way down to like Fast X territory. And I just wasn't expecting that. I didn't know anything about Shimu. And when I saw him in this, I didn't care for him anymore. He looked gigantic compared to the rest, which is odd. Scar King is just really just an angry ape who's mean-spirited, and he got casted out. There's a little story there, but it doesn't even matter. He's just the villain in this who invaded Kong's territory. And then, Kong, very sympathetic, but he's more of a leader than anything, as he is the king, right? But he needs a lot of help. And Godzilla really is just somebody who we Americans or whatever use to fight off the Titans as they come up. And we don't mind all the damage he does when he does it. Have a good time with it. It is what it is. Guys, let me know what were your thoughts on The New Empire, Godzilla and Kong, Shimu, and Scar King. Did you watch it? Leave your comments down below. If you haven't seen it, did this review detour you, or did it make you want to watch it more once I said, it's just a big, dumb, fun movie? Let me know. I'm Alex Thorn, and you know what I got to do. I got to rock out so I can watch some movies and review them for you.